Okay, this is going to be a mixed thing. Probably, I'm still going to make it part of history of propaganda. And it's what 7:46 in the morning, and now I laid down for a bit. But obviously, when you got this large of a head on your shoulders, you're just thinking all the time. Uh, don't be jealous of me, honestly. Uh, okay, so we're talking about recent events. Say the protester at the Junos, her name is Casey Hatherley, and she's my kind of woman. I was like, ooh, hey, how are you? I mean, obviously I'm tearing a whole bunch of different people and movements a new asshole as much and as best as I can because I'm really good at that. you know, uh, whatever. And the things on my mind for this particular one, again with the continuing themes of with the history of propaganda having to do with the okay, so LGBTQ, feminism, medical industrial complex, and military industrial complex, art, all these things, interwoven with each other, for a combined story that for which is the propaganda, because there is no propaganda without the human story. And let's see, this is another one of those weird ones from in here. And don't ask me why I selected it. It was in the paper at the time. And, I like doing, as you can tell, I like doing political cartoons. And I did a couple of them in high school. One in particular, it was an article about Enron. And what I had drawn was the N, or N with a noose around the state of Texas or something like that. So there we are. Where is it? Let me find it. And with the premier right now, and of course, Casey has a very valid point. Because the green belt, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't, and it's been proven that more highways don't relieve congestion; they actually make it worse. And you lose the farmland, you lose the capacity for self-sufficiency. And I support farmers. I could end up being one myself one day. It doesn't seem like a bad life after dealing with so many different people and their freaking bullshit. And I like burning people online too, because that's an old pastime. Especially stupid people. When it just boggles my mind how little people understand that once you put something up online, it's there forever. Someone could take a screenshot and that's it. Okay, where is it? It should be close by. Okay. Anyways, one of the other things while I try to find this is, since it's a little bit more comedic, and considering some Canadian history specifically for the history of propaganda, because, well, I'm Canadian, so that if you're going to talk about something, at least make it close to your heart. If I can friggin' find it. Maybe it's in one of the other books. Yeah, I think it's in another book. Okay. You know, because like artists and activists usually go hand in hand with each other, being the rebels that we are in society. There it is. There it is. Yeah. It looks like the Last Supper, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Very, very simple alteration to highlight the people involved. You know, and especially thinking about, or at least trying to empathize with people in positions of power. And having been in a position of power myself over young people, and you know, of course, how impressionable children are and young people are. So okay, so let's go on, and then this you know, Great Canadian maple syrup heist, which has to do with Quebec farmers, and of course the tradition in Quebec of the Sugar Shack. And I have a personal relationship because of my French grandmother who grew up on a farm. You know, I don't remember exactly. It's somewhere between Ottawa and Montreal towards the north. So Hull is somewhere in there. We went there once, and they didn't have a toilet. They had an outhouse. Okay. So the maple syrup heist, the Great Canadian Maple Syrup heist here. You know, I you know, because there's this thing about Quebec maple syrup supremacy. But, you know, there's maple trees all over Canada, and, you know, maple syrup can be pretty much produced from anywhere in Ontario. Specifically, if I'm going to cite somewhere close and personal, first-hand account, it would be the McLaughlin maple syrup farm, which I went to with my father and my sisters. Yeah. Oh, my sister Natalie. Anyway, that was recently. It's about like a week or two ago, something like that. I don't know. I'm not doing anything right. Obviously, I'm not working, but not that I care, because eventually I'm just going to make more money than I ever did in aviation as an artist, to, you know, bootstrap myself and my business, because that's the way it's going to have to be. All the best people in industry. In any industry, when they're first adopters, or they're pioneers, they do it in their garages with next to no support for years, doing it by themselves. No, she can be manipulative sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to read from this. Was a theft over several months in 2011 and 2012, nearly 3,000 tons of maple syrup valued at $18.7 million from a storage facility in Quebec. The facility was operated by the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, or Fédération des Producteurs Sucriers de Québec, who represent 77% of the global maple syrup supply. Adjusted for inflation, 2020, the heist is the most valuable in Canadian history. So in 1966, the maple syrup producers in Quebec formed a union, basically, participating in a joint plan to collectively market maple syrup. This effort inspired the formation of a larger agreement all across Quebec, which became known as the Federation, etc., etc. Let's see. Yeah, it was featured in the Netflix documentary Dirty Money. That's how I first learned about it. Amazon is developing the sticky half-hour comedy series based on the heist. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty freaking hilarious. Oh my goodness, the dog. Okay, I'm gonna let the dog out and then we'll come back to this. Yeah, 10 minutes. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, dogs are like children. Yeah, just a reminder. Okay, so what we're doing, the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. It's pretty hilarious. So, discovery and investigation. Inspector Michael Lavreau started climbing up the barrels and nearly fell, expecting 600-pound barrels, but finding them to be empty. Police later recovered hundreds of barrels of the syrup from an exporter based in Kedgwick, New Brunswick. Between 18 and 20 December 2012, and police arrested 17 men related to the theft. Let's see. What was I going to do next? Okay, so another piece of propaganda would be like separatism. Usually it's just used as a collective bargaining thing. But here in Canada, you know, something historical that's happened more than once. And since we're talking about Quebec, it would be the Quebec sovereignty movement here. I'm on Wikipedia. You know, again, Wikipedia is a good starting point. It is not the definitive source for history. Neither is any online encyclopedia. That's just how it is. Okay. And in my youth, I'm thinking about like the first time and then the second time where the vote was held, and then nothing happened. And of course, I was reminded earlier today. Like maybe like less than an hour ago. I don't know what the dog's doing right now. What is she doing? Hey, get out of there. Dogs. Hey, baby. How you doing? How are you, Zoe? If you don't know Zoe, there's Zoe. Hey? What? You're on camera, you know that? Okay, enough. Okay, and I haven't. There, she'll plop. I haven't done a cartoon of Ye Francois Blachette yet, but I will. I'm not gonna leave you out, buddy. Your Wikipedia photo is not exactly, complimentary. I'll tell you that much. Woo, you look really worried in that one, buddy. But, I'm going to rip you a new one for being associated with the Liberal Party, because frankly, it's going to put you on the wrong side of history. And what really scared me, besides the separatism here, no, what was it? Okay, so I was reminded of the Reform Party for some reason. Where's that? I'm Preston Manning, right? Hi, I'm Preston, the Reform Party. There's an Air Force reference. Pretty old farts. My name is Doug from Canmore. It's my dog Norb. Sit. Good dog. Some good bits there. Of course, relating to like the Montreal comedy stuff, but whatever. And political satire. Anyways, So like this whole idea of separatism in Canada is enjoy or like say Alberta, going off on its own and joining the United States, right? There's a lot of you know interwovenness and complicated backroom mechanics that would make it really complicated. And like again, there's this thing, Quebec sovereignty, and you'll see, and I've seen stickers on people's toolboxes where it's this Quebecer and a francophone more specifically with the two fingers up. So two states, Quebec sovereignty, you know. And in all instances where it would be realistic, it'd be like the UK, where Canada, where we just it's more official than anything else. But it's from someone that's from the outside, especially considering the history with the FLQ and the mass exodus of Anglophones from Quebec. What was it? 1 million Anglophones. Anglophone exodus from Quebec. There we go. Rise and fall of English-speaking Montreal. All right, that's it's from a documentary. I first learned about this was okay. What? So this is Quebec, my country, mon pays. So that's it was produced by John Walker, and it was first aired at the International Documentary Film Festival of November 16, 2016. Now, from my direct experience, there's a lot of people in Quebec that find, the francophone supremacy to be a problem, and they don't want their children to be limited by it. It's kind of isolating. It's a double-edged sword. I want Quebec to have its own distinct and unique nature. Having lived in that province twice now, and had my time shorter periods of time there as well, for say like training with Bombardier, or passing through. But ESAM. So that's in Montreal. Or wait, Assam or whatever it is. École des métiers spéciaux de Montréal. Yeah, EMAM. That's right. So that was like specifically for the Global 7500 or 7000. Yeah, I remember this well. These guys are really lucky. When I went through it, Sue, we had nothing like this. Absolutely nothing like this. We're bare bones, When I came in here, I was absolutely amazed. Absolutely amazed. It's like when I did my training with Sioux College at Fanshawe. Again, it was only the second year that the program was brought down from Sault Ste. Marie as a pilot project. I don't think they do it anymore, which is a shame. Okay. Uh, yeah. So like, I don't approve of separatism. It's basically, it boils down to more historical things like the Louis Rebellion, or say, is it the Battle of the Plains to Abraham, which I've been to in the winter. I have photos on my Instagram. Looking at the cannons, some of them being from like the 15th century, it's just absolutely stunning. And of course, like when I was coming up in school, we learned about this part of Canadian history and the settlers and whatnot, and the foundation of Upper and Lower Canada and then Confederation. So, excuse me. So, what can I say? The curriculum has likely changed a whole lot from my years. Then I was here in Quebec City for Carnival, the one year that I worked in Quebec City at Discovery. So I was lucky enough to experience that. The bonhomme and the whole bit was nice, and you see the solid parade. Right. Okay. Well, I really don't have a lot of depth on this one. Just to say that Oh wait, what else was I going to say? I wanted to touch on the COVID bullshit, and how I watched a documentary recently. Whether it has foundation or not, but a lot of it was from firsthand experience of the doctors and the morticians, actually, where they were pulling fibrous materials out of the people that had the vaccine and they had passed away. They had clotting or whatnot that led to a heart attack, or an aneurysm, something along those lines, a blood clot, stroke. So, and it really disturbed me that when I was in Trois-Rivières recently, that it looked and felt like a ghost town in comparison to the last time that I was there. It was very disappointing, and very sad. Those of you who are in Trois-Rivières during the fall or the winter know that feeling very well, and because it gets very foggy, right? Like being in a low area, very like right on the St. Lawrence River. And so the weather is effective for the area and La Mauricie. And what can I say? Well, Quebec was obviously affected with the tightest rules for COVID, and that in itself, became a propaganda, and that makes me concerned about other conspiratorial elements. With the Great Replacement reality. And it's not a theory. It's not as attributed by Statistics Canada in another video. Then also, just the influence the Prime Minister has over the Bloc Québécois and the province of Quebec in general. It's very disheartening and just saddening. It was very sad. And, I'd like to end this one on a high note, but obviously I'm not. So moving on. Better a protest by a woman than not.